Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles audio book club call. Today is Friday, June 15th, 2018. My name is Christian. I'll be your host today. We are discussing Kenneth Wapnick videos on YouTube. So even though we're called an audio book club, we're basically just a Course in Miracles group that records our conversations and stuff. So we're doing 4 videos today, chosen by Randy and Viola Krebs, and they're on the call too. So your name, your location, why you're excited about today's call?
Viola and Randy, Salt Lake City. I'm excited because those were some really good videos, and I'm excited to see what everybody got out of it and share what I got out of it. And I'm here to forgive Nathan.
Yes, of course, gotta forgive Nathan. And yeah, Christian Stanbury, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm pretty excited too, just because it feels good to get the Ken Wapnick momentum going in my mind and stuff.
Yeah.
Nathan, speak to us.
I'm Nathan Lively from Minnesota.
Can't hear you, Nathan. I see you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you.
He's working on it.
Uh-oh.
He's an audio person. He'll figure it out.
Oh, shoot.
Let's go on.
I need for Brandy to be able to hear me. I'm going to say some important stuff.
Okay, now we're ready to hear
No,
you.
I didn't hear you because we got knocked out. Can you say it again?
Oh, okay. This is Nathan Lively in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm excited to be here to talk about the new videos and to, forgive you guys.
Very nice. Very nice.
Of course. And yeah, so Randy, you introduced yourself, right?
I'm Randy Krebs, also from Salt Lake City, Utah. Great videos. I mean, one of them in particular really resonates on, when you're thinking something bad, it just boom, shut it down.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're all great, but that one's really a good one to live by, because I mean, this ego just likes to tear people apart, and
It's just our thoughts.
yeah, so
You're going through your
no. But that's what I'm excited for all 4, but that one in particular, and excited to be on with Nathan as well. I mean, that's an honor right there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Really good to see you, Nathan. Glad your voice is back. You were saying last week you were sick and stuff, so we're really happy to have you again and stuff, dude. Missed ya. Thanks for being on the call. We got a joiner just now, Linda Pettigrew. Welcome to the call. All right, she's just putting in her microphone. Lancaster, California. Right? You didn't move yet, Linda? You didn't move since last week?
She has not established her audio yet. There we go. Okay. Hi, Linda. You can unmute yourself. I got you unmuted. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So, name, location, why you're excited, Linda?
Yeah, and that thing that I wrote for the homework that we did, let me get it.
Yeah, Linda wrote down her highlights from the 4 Ken Wapnick videos in our Facebook group. If anyone's interested and you want to join our calls from YouTube, join our Facebook group called Living A Course in Miracles Audio Book Club.
I'll put it right in my notebook.
Where do you live, Linda?
Okay. Hopelessness on the Journey, The Only Way Out. Excerpt from
second, Linda. 1 second. First, we're just introducing ourselves, where we're calling in from, and why.
I'm sorry. I'm rude.
And then actually, if you want to go first on your highlights too, after Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're from, Linda.
Oh, Lancaster, California. I'm originally from Westbury, Long Island, New York, but I'm out here in Lancaster, California. It's nicer.
Okay.
Better traffic, better people, better weather.
I lived there for almost 2 years.
It's
Lancaster.
nice here. I love it here.
Cool. If I was going to move to the United States, I would choose California.
No.
Weather is nice here.
It was like, are you sure you want to do that? Hey, Vegas.
It's,
Vegas? Okay.
Well,
At least my rent will be cheap.
yeah, but
no, that wouldn't be good.
yeah, wherever you'd like to live is the best place.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so highlights on the call. Linda, do you want to go first and give us your highlights on the 4 Ken Wapnick videos?
All right, go ahead. Okay, so for the first video, Hopelessness on a Journey, having that bad thought in the box, A Course in Miracles teaches you to let go and let God and take care of your thoughts for better sanity. I put that in a few sentences.
I like
So I
it.
hope I did the best I can with that.
Perfect.
Future loss is not your fear, but present joining is your dread. This video helps you to have a reality check, even to have a better moment by keeping the Holy Spirit within you. My ego can make up fear for the moment or future. Just give it to God of your choice, accept the miracles that helps you to grow and keep it great within you. And that's the best you can do.
That's
You just have to
it.
just play it moment by moment. That's the best thing you can do. No longer tolerating our minds wandering. Having unkind thoughts are not okay. Your mind wanders outside A Course in Miracles. You're keeping yourself away from the love you learned to have when you learned it from A Course in Miracles. When something like that happens, what I would do is I would take a 10-step moral inventory or a 4-step moral inventory. You can get that from Alcoholics Anonymous. You kind of like go through that. You want to take like a good look at yourself. When you use the Facebook page Spiri, the Spirit will help you to look at it better. So you really have to think maybe who's at fault with that, but you're better off letting it go and letting God and letting Him take care of it, because God will know what to do with it. And the last one, if your brother's asking you for something outrageous, or someone asks you for something outrageous from you, when you can face it with love, it will be so much easier. You're telling this person that you love this person. No strings attached. Even if you are doing it with love from God. You have to be as clear as possible that your ego is not involved in this. God is always with you. You want to like do it right and keep it fair. But yet, I mean, I understand we're all not the Bank of California. We're all not the Bank of America. So simply just do the best you can. That's maybe within your budget of whatever it is. And that could be anything.
Yeah.
I know when I see homeless people on street corners, if I have some change or a bottle of water, I'll give that to the homeless person, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that'll do good, I hope.
I personally do too, most of the time. But, you know, I think that was one of Gloria Wapnick's things or something. It might have been in the Living A Course in Miracles audiobook club about giving money to a homeless person. And you can do it you can give it or not give it with love or without love, you know. So it really is all about the content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, totally. Thank you so much. Those are awesome, Linda.
Thanks.
Who wants to go next on their highlights from the 4 videos?
I guess I can go. I was just trying to. I listened to them today, and of course take notes, because I can't listen and just have it absorb in, even though they're very short videos, which was very nice. So in video number 1, it says it's not true that if you follow the course and forgive, you are out of here, because I think that's where the lady was saying, well, so now that I'm in the course, does that mean I'm out of here? He goes, no, at the very end, that's when you'll let it go. So even though she's sounds like she's still a little confused, but a very scholared person of the course, she had the fear and guilt that okay, now that I'm there, I must be done. So my life must be done. Your identity becomes cleansed during this journey. There's less burden and guilt, and I think that's what the course does. Also, it allows you to focus on the love and get away from the burden of guilt that you've created in this illusionary world during your lifetime. I do not know the things I am. This is what he said at the very end. I do not know the thing I am, and therefore I do not know what I am doing, where I am, or how to look upon this world or myself. So that was a very deep saying that he said right at the very end. The next one was on future loss, which is tied to chapter 26. Future loss is not your fear, but present joining of your dread.
Is your dread, yes.
Or is your dread. Oh, present joining is your dread. I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's like future loss is not your fear, but present joining is your dread. It's like you're not afraid of crucifixion. Your real terror is of redemption.
Okay. All right.
And your fear would be to join with everyone as one. That's more scary than being punished.
It's like in our ego insanity, we believe that heaven is hell. We think that in the presence of God, that we would be obliterated. So it's like we're more afraid of, what we're really afraid of is like the sun, you, your ability to change your mind from choosing the ego to choosing Holy Spirit.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
Oh.
Our real fear is that
for me too. For me too. At the same time, it helps. Our
real fear is that our decision-making mind will at one point wake up, recognize its mistake in choosing the wrong teacher.
That's scary.
Yeah. Yep, that is. So, yeah, this one was definitely on fear. The next one was no longer tolerate our mind wandering. I didn't really. I think on this one, I think the highlights was the students of the course, and we've heard that a lot. The students of the course, they're getting all this education, and they're feeling really good, and they know what it makes a lot of sense to them. Then they go out in the real world and then forget everything they've learned. And that's where their ego takes over. So, that's and it sounds pretty true. Like that once you get in the real world, the ego does take over and you forget a lot of what you've been taught. And then if your brother asks for something out of response, the fourth
outrageous.
Outrageous. Sorry, can't read my own writing.
Oh, me too.
Ask for something outrageous. Do it. Do not do anything don't do anything that's harmful or to them or yourself. But if they ask, do it. I thought that was a very, that goes with, like you say, handing out the bottle of water with love.
Or not.
Yep. And trying to find where that was on.
That was a good one. Wasn't that the one that says we get thoughts in our minds? Or was that a different one?
I thought that was it. Maybe it was the one before. Okay. It was actually in the third video. Any unkind,
Oh, yeah.
any unkind, yes, that was it. Third video. Any unkind thought, stop yourself and say, it's not okay. It reinforces the thought that we are separate. So that was the big highlight for the third video.
Yeah, actually, me too, Randy. I'm with you on that 100%. That my biggest highlight of all 4 videos and of my entire week this week was recognizing that that's a big part of the process. You know, like when you think something unkind about someone, like we as core students know that's not really healthy.
No.
You know, is that okay for you? You know?
And it's like so automatic for me. Like I get these judgment thoughts automatically, and it's like so automatic you don't even know where they come from. And then I caught myself today, like that was an unkind thought, and I forgave it. But it's like you have to really become aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Those thoughts
Yeah.
jump in. Like I guess eventually you forgive it enough that you won't even have those thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where Viola and I will tag team each other on, that kind
that's
of,
helpful.
It's definitely.
What do you mean? You'll help each other in what way?
Yeah, and like saying if he says something, you kind of, when you've been married 40 years, you kind of know how the other person thinks.
Yeah.
And so it's like we can point to each other and point it out, or we can even say, "Oh my gosh, I just had an unkind thought." It's just kind of a bouncing board, you know.
Not only unkind, for us it wouldn't be thoughts, it would be our words. If we're saying we're talking about someone and stop, that's an unkind word.
But the thoughts is what got me more than the words, because.
Oh, nice. So if you like see that you're both going down that dark road for a moment, then you both help each other stay out of it. We don't want to go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
Then on the final one on if your brother asks for something outrageous, talked about, show the person that their sins do not affect you or offend you. So the person that may be asking the outrageous, asking for something outrageous, that's definitely their need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it said also that you don't have to. It's kind of like the bottled water with the homeless. It depends on the outcome and why you did it. At the end, like I wrote, when it's my turn, I'll talk about it.
And the final one's guiding principle is that your ego has no investment in what happens.
Yeah, that's it.
Anything you say or do is loving and caring.
Either way, yeah.
So those are my highlights of the 4 videos. But I agree, the unkind thoughts, that definitely is the highlight for these 4 for me.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll go next. I had listened to all 4 like in bed, and I was just like relaxing, and I heard all 4 of these like Monday or Tuesday, and then I forgot everything that was in them. I couldn't even like say anything, so I listened to them again today and got different meanings out of it. I mean, I took notes, and without the notes, I don't know how I do here. Hopelessness on the journey, the only way out. We retain identity, but become cleansed and happier because you have a less burden of guilt. In a body, you're identifying with guilt. I'm showing God that I'm punishing myself, so he doesn't have to do it. Ego thought system is a defense of another strongest system. That is your hope, because there is another thought system. Who would I be without my victimization? I know who I am when I'm a victim, but I don't know who I am if I'm a child of God.
So true.
Or if I am God or the Holy Spirit. In this, salvation is born. So in this statement, salvation is born. Who would I be without my victimization? That was one of the big ones, actually, for me.
Very nice.
That was 1. 2 is future loss is not your fear. The present joining is your dread. The real terror is redemption. We're not afraid of punishment. We become our punishment. Oneness is our fear. Shared interest. We have the same ego. The difference is we share the same, we share the same purpose and need. Everybody has the same purpose and need. But the shared interest that we do have is the same ego. Joining, letting go of belief that we're separated. We're already joined. Our minds are one. We just have to let go of that belief that we're separated. Fear is not of the future. It's a linear time is a projection. So when you're talking about future, fear is made up. We return together or not at all.
Awesome.
Okay, so number 3, no longer tolerating the mind wandering. Speaking of projection, stop ourselves when we become aware. Our egos remain. This is not okay. It's just not okay to even think those thoughts. Tolerant of pain. Okay, so tolerant of pain. There must be a better way. No longer okay to live the life of pain. So I think he used that as a analogy to how we deal with pain. Is like, okay, you deal with it for a while, then it's like, okay, it's no longer okay for me to be in pain all the time. But our egos remain. So there's not, until you decide that there's a better thought system, then it's kind of like the same with pain. The ego will remain until you get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Unkind thoughts are not okay. It fragments the sonship. It is not okay to have these thoughts. Love, that is the source, indulging unkind thoughts, is no longer okay. That doesn't make sense. Love, that is the source. Oh, love, that is the source. Indulging unkind thoughts is no longer okay. That is no longer okay in my book now. And I'm glad I listened to this one, because it's really kind of an easy one to do, and it'll make a huge difference, I think.
Oh, big time. Like he says right at the end, like that's what would speed us along.
Yeah. That'll speed. Oh, he said that. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would speed us along.
Yeah, it's like, the same thing with the last book we studied, the lifetimes of Jesus and Buddha knew each other, that undivided, that one goal, the uncompromising decision to actually apply what we're learning. And that's a big part of it. So we either want to do it or we don't. It's not okay. Because normally we'll say like it's okay, right?
If your brother asks you something, this is the last one. If your brother asks you something outrageous, do it. You believe your salvation is based on not doing it. So that's why we don't do it, because we think it's outrageous and we say no immediately. And we believe that if we were to actually do that, we would be jeopardizing our salvation. Don't give anything power. No effect on you. You're doing opposite of forgiveness when you do that. Doing or not doing is investment is not there. Oh, wait, that makes some sense. Doing or not doing. If the investment is not there.
Must have missed a little bit of that.
Yeah, but it means that, to me, I think it means there's no investment in that outcome. Like if you do the outrageous for the person. So either way, if you were to do the outrageous thing, it's for the purpose of oh, here I have it written down. Enabling. Doing what they ask you to do is looking. No. It's loving, because it will help them to undo their guilt. So it's helpful. So even if you think it's outrageous, it's going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it doesn't harm anybody, but doing what they ask you to do is a loving thing, actually. And I mean, how many times does our ego get in the way and we're like, no, I'm not doing that. And we don't even give it a chance. But by doing it. That was huge too. Clear that the ego has no investment in the outcome. I don't know what that means, but it must have meant something. Okay,
Yeah, I wrote that down too. It's like you can it doesn't matter so much doing it or not doing it. It's like if your own ego investment is there, you can sense that. And so
it's like the bottled water analogy at the beginning, right?
yeah, you could either do it or not, or give money to the homeless person or not, lovingly or not,
Yeah.
Sorry. No, it's okay. So yeah, it's really always the content that matters, right?
Right.
Because there's some things that are obvious, like he was saying, like you don't give like a bottle of whiskey to a recovering alcoholic or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's situational dependent. Some situations it would be helpful to do that, and some situations it wouldn't. So when your ego's involved, that investment, and when it's not.
That investment, what do you mean?
That feeling like, well, I want to give this guy booze so he'll get out of my face now, or I want to give him booze because you're saying like under the surface at the level of mine, I love you and I will do anything I can to help you. So there's no like investment there, but there is an investment in wanting him to get the heck out of my face and just give him something so that he'll get out of my face, for example, right? When it has more to do with selfishness in a sense, I'd say the investment is there.
Okay.
Nathan, do you want to give us some highlights?
Hey,
Hey.
here's some highlights.
All right.
My fear is that I'm made up and that all of this is made up. And then my favorite was same as everyone else's favorite. When you have thoughts of fear and pain, stop yourself. This is not okay. I will no longer tolerate mind wanderings, judgments. It's no longer okay to have thoughts that are hurtful or separate or fragmenting the unity. As soon as you have an unkind thought about anyone, stop yourself and say, I don't want to hurt other people, and I don't want to hurt myself. My ego is no longer okay, and I will no longer tolerate it. So it was a funny coincidence that I watched that video and was like, shit, that's intense. And then I immediately read this in the course. When you feel the holiness of your relationship is threatened by anything, stop instantly and offer the Holy Spirit your willingness, in spite of fear, to let him exchange this instant for the Holy One that you would rather have. He will never fail in this.
What a breath of fresh air that is.
Those are my highlights.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, like Gary said, I know you can do it, Nathan. I know you can.
Yeah. Famous saying from Gary Renard.
Yeah, there's like 3 lines in my head from that call when you asked him about mind wandering, no, I'm not gonna go there. He's like, don't do that. And then there was another thing that I wanted to
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so I think that's so important. I had one day this week where that it's just all the pieces of puzzle kind of like coming together and stuff. And I feel like all these videos are related too. And you basically all said all of my highlights, but I'll just quickly go over it again. Repetition is okay. At the beginning of the first video, hopelessness on the journey, the only way out, which is one of my favorite Ken Wapnick videos. I like the beginning where that woman, Randy, she's like, you noticed me. She's like worried about what do I do? It just feels hopeless. What do I do if I'm super guilty, or I'm just gonna disappear? What do I do? Ken's like, I don't know. Go back to Brooklyn.
That was good.
Look on destruction. That's your life.
Yeah. The devastation. Look at the devastation. That's your life. Yeah. Guilt demands punishment. So Ken went off and he started explaining kind of like some of the symptoms of believing in the ego, you know, like guilt demands punishment. So as long as there's guilt, there will be sort of like an urge to punish yourself, because then we can say, like, in our ego insanity, you know, like, hey, I got him, God, I got him. Now you don't have to punish me, you can punish him. So the ego thought system goes really deep and stuff, very deep in our unconscious mind. So, but anyways, he said the only way out of it, you know, see, you got this on videotape now, so you can have it. So the only way out of this is you draw a box around the entire thought system. And that's what I did recently. Like, I was looking at the entire thought system about how, like, I've been following my ego's dictates my whole life. It's not making me happy. My guilt demands punishment. I keep sabotaging myself in a lot of different areas. And I don't really deserve to be happy. That's what I think in my ego insanity. Well, anyways, I draw a big box around all that nonsense and realize that it is a defense against the true thought system, which I'm actually afraid of, you know, because I think that, which, see, that goes on, applies to the next video called future loss is not your fear, but present joining is your dread. Your real terror is of redemption. So I'm actually, one of my friends one time, I said like, why don't I do the course? Why don't I do these simple steps, these little 5-minute meditation practice? Why don't I do the course? Why don't I apply it as much? He said, well, because you think that what the Holy Spirit is offering you is a negative thing. You know, so, and that made a lot of sense. So the ego or the world is a defense against another thought system. There is no hope within the thought system. Like the Course will say, like, the world or the ego thought system is foolproof, but it is not God-proof. And it must be looked at. So those are my highlights for, like, the first video, which ties into the second video, future loss is not your fear, but present joining is your dread. In our tortured, delusional minds, when we give in to the ego thought system and you know, like, forget about what we learned or tolerate our mind wandering, then what that does is that it solidifies our specialness and individuality. It sort of like reinforces the ego, and it makes us like kind of like plant our flag in the sand and be like, I created a self outside of God, you know. It's like, so it kind of like just says like the ego is alive and well. So it's not a sin to do that, because we all do that, but it's just going to prolong our suffering, I guess. You know, it's like delay does not matter in eternity. In heaven's eyes, it makes no difference. But it is tragic in time. You belong only in heaven with God, where he placed you forever. Kind of like paraphrasing a line in the Course. So if we can prove that we are separated, sinful, and guilty, then it preserves our individuality. Choosing the miracle will help us to awaken. So video number 3, no longer tolerating our mind wandering. Mind wandering roots our attention on the body and believing that the cause of our distress is outside of the decision maker. So it just kind of like distracts us. Mind wandering keeps putting our attention on the effect, the world, rather than the cause, the mind. Tolerance for pain may be high, but it is not without limit. Eventually, everyone begins to realize, however dimly, that there must be another way, you know. So I was saying earlier this week, man, putting a box around that thought system, man. There must be a better thought system than that. Right? Unkind thoughts are no longer okay for me, you know. So I've been practicing that, and yeah, this morning, Viola, like you were saying, some of those thoughts just popping up. I was getting some of those this morning, but I got on it. I was like, no, not today. It's not okay, you know. Minute by minute, second by second, because I want to be happy. Why should I persist in staying separate from the love that I have sworn to return to? pretending that my unkind thoughts are okay is not for me anymore. I no longer want to tolerate it. And then that's what would speed us along. We were saying, yeah. So yeah, like I had maybe yesterday or the day before, it was a little more difficult to do it. So it takes practice, right? Like I had a super good day recently. There was a day and a half in between where I was a little off course, pardon the pun, but then, you know, I woke up today and, you know, get back on it, you know, so it's going to take a little practice.
Yeah. You know, I can really see it as the ego thing, because in a way, when you have like an unkind thought, it separates you and makes you feel like your ego is better than that person's ego. And it's just all within a second. It's just like the thought enters your mind. It's like, wow, my ego is like really screwed up. With everybody's ego is like, that's how everybody thinks. I mean, some people are working on it, but and maybe some people have achieved already and can't think an unkind thought. But Randy's close. I think you're really, but because he's always been like our whole life. He really doesn't think a lot of unkind thoughts.
Good.
Really. Mm-hmm. I mean, you do. You're not perfect.
Oh no, far from perfect.
But you're pretty good. You're pretty good compared to me.
That's quite admirable, and it ties into actually something that I was going to share about the fourth video, and it's about the dad in my family, the king of my house.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool. To the kings of the houses, you know, and it has to do with the fourth video. Like, if your brother asks you to do something outrageous, to do it, and this does not mean that you should harm yourself or others. If you feel resistance to what they're asking, then you're demonstrating that you both share the insane thought system of being like separate. Forgiveness is meant to correct the belief that there is a world out there that brings me peace or pain or affects me. Having no investment. So yeah, that's been an important component of practicing the thought system, is that only what's out there could affect the body. You know, like say, for example, I'm addicted to cola. Well, only a body could need that, you know, or think that it needs that, right? And I'm not a body. I'm a mind. So yeah, just to get back to what I was saying there, the kings of the houses, the men of the house, such as Randy or my father, Perry, he's always kind of been like this. He's a quiet person, and he doesn't really tell you what to do. He'll give you advice and stuff, right? But he has seen addictive behavior in myself, or he's seen addictive behavior in other people, but he never really tells you how to live your own life. You know, he kind of like says this sentence to you, but without actually saying it. It's like, I love you and I will do anything I can do to help you. You know, and like, cool. I'll let you make your mistakes. You know, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, yep. He doesn't really try and change anybody. He's a very quiet person. I've said before, like, he's probably one of those teachers of God that it says in the manual for teachers that doesn't believe in God yet. You know, he's very introspective, introverted, quiet, thinks to himself, doesn't really think negatively. I didn't grow up in a home that was quite racist or anything like that, you know. Always taught us to respect others, help others. I was talking about giving money to a homeless person. We've always prided ourselves on helping others and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
He sounds cool, like a cool person.
Yeah, really cool guy. He likes to party too. He's a party animal. That's where I get that from. So yeah, those are my highlights.
That's outrageous.
Forgiveness in the field section. Who wants to go first? I don't.
No, it's good.
Everybody's favorite part of the call.
I have everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could be on for like how much time?
You can take my time.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna.
Okay, yeah, we should time it. So we got how many people? 2, 4, 5 people. 2 minutes each.
Okay?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
she can have my 2 minutes if
No,
needed.
no, you don't have any.
I have no forgiveness.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, anybody can go if they want. We're going to start 2 minutes on Viola. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, so I'm still here dealing with cancer and forgiveness in the field. Like, I had another thoracentesis. They took out fluid again out of my lung, and then we realized, we figured out the chemo's not working. So this new chemo's not working. So it's really a bummer because I'm still dealing with the effects of the chemo, and I'm really sick, and it hasn't worked. I mean, maybe it worked a little bit, but the doctor's like, we're not giving you any more of that chemo. We're going to switch you to another chemo. And I'm like, I don't want to do any more chemo. It's like, I don't like how the doctors just do that. Like, you could go 5 years and you could be on 10 different chemos, solid, constantly. And I don't want to do that. So I had to, that was a forgiveness in the field. And also another forgiveness was, I tell you, I have a lot, but I'm not going to probably say half of these. I've been doing the hydrogen peroxide that Gary does, and I started today. So I'm already sick. Like, I've been sick already for like a month and a half or 2 months or whatever. I'm sick to my stomach. But I thought, I need oxygen in this body. So I read the 1 Minute Cure. We bought the little hydrogen peroxide in the mail, and we actually started it today. And I'm kind of sick to my stomach. But I mean, I was sick to my stomach to begin with. So I was just like saying, man, I'm such a victim. because what other cancer patient do we know that's starting this, that starts something like this? How many healthy people do we know that actually does it when they're healthy, when you should do it and not wait till you're sick? But I was really feeling sorry for myself and making the body real. It's like, oh my God, I have huge lessons, I guess, to learn. But all the stuff going on it's just making it real. So that's my forgiveness.
Wow, that sounds very tough, and I can only imagine what you're going through. And I'm proud of yourself for not giving up. And
I'll take my 2 minutes just kind of to add to Viola's. I mean, she says she's not going to do chemo. That is an option, but there's like 3 different options we're looking at. So it's not like she's just going to give up chemo and go off into the wild blue yonder. No. She's tough. She's going to continue on, and we'll see what will be the best option for her. Probably the first part of July. So just I wanted to say, yeah, that when she said don't want no more chemo, I'm done. People could take that the wrong way. So I just wanted to explain.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean I was done. All treatment.
So, I didn't take it that way myself.
I'm off into yonder doing all kinds of treatments.
Oh yeah, I mean, and she looks great. I mean, in terms, she's going through hell, but and she's got probably one of the strongest mindsets of any person that I know. And get through it. Definitely get through it. I think forgiveness in the field. We finally got it. We hope a refund from the doctor in Las Vegas. That was pretty tough. We had a little bit of tough time with him, but we forgave him. We actually ended up having to write him an apology note.
No, we didn't have to. We chose to.
We chose to write him an apology note because one of our phone calls did not end on such a high note, and he accepted our apology. We have to write it, but he accepted it, and we let his ego win, probably for him more than
just
anything.
To make peace.
Yeah, because he is us, but
because he is us.
Yeah, and probably no real other. I can't even say anything with my ex-son-in-law as far as anything I had to forgive this week. It's been a very peaceful and calm week, and now life is good. That's all I have right now.
Cool. Thank you. I like it. Good job, you guys.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Forgiveness in the field. Someone want to go next?
Okay, I'll go.
All right.
Okay, so how Course in Miracles help me is to deal with people with better attitude, out in the traffic, food shopping, and doing housework at home. And I have my two white angels at home, Mark and Lucy.
Nice.
She's my white toy female now, so she's sleeping on the floor right now. Right, Bunny? Oh, she's just laying there. And Mark, he's reading a book right now. So I have them to keep me very, very happy. They're my family. And I simply look at the gifts that God has given me, and I have a house, I have a car. So and I'm glad I have that. I mean, I'm sleeping on a bed, and maybe on my couch, and I get disability, which I hate. But I mean, I was told you have to be happy with what you have, and I am happy to have it. I'll be honest with you, I'm terrible with my budget, but doing the best I can, doing food shopping, but I just let go and let God do the best I can. And plus, this is my cane, so I have edema in my legs. Oh God. I mean, to me, that's like the most embarrassment. I mean, having edema in my legs. Because the thing is, when I get up off the couch, man, I have to worry if I'm gonna like fall anywhere. And maybe like, as long as I had the edema in my legs, maybe 5 to 10 times so far since I was 32 years old. I mean, my legs would just go out just like that, you know. I could be anywhere and I fall to the floor. So I mean, most of the time when I go anywhere, I have my cane and maybe I'm holding onto something. So that way, if I maybe go to fall, I have like two things to hold on to. So that's why I have to think all the time.
Yeah.
I do some light exercises, but I do the best I can. And that's what I stick with. I do the best I can.
That's
And
it.
I'm glad God can give me that. Thanks.
Like you say, keep it simple.
Yeah, one day at a time, like Bill Wilson and Bob Smith said in 1935.
That's it. All right. Thank you, Linda. Who should go first, me or you, Nathan?
Let's Rochambeau.
You win. You win.
All right. Awesome. So, a couple of things. Last week I was sick as hell, and I was like praying to every God that would listen to let the pain be over. And it was terrible. So that's my first forgiveness lesson, is that I just spent a lot of time in bed, like not knowing what to do with myself, climbing the walls, and
Wait a minute.
you know.
Wait a minute. Aren't you doing the hydrogen peroxide?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. So that actually turned into a thing that I got pissed off about too, because I was like, I've been doing the hydrogen peroxide for at least a year straight, and I still got sick. Does it only work on cancer? What the fuck? So I was pretty mad about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not consistent enough with it. Maybe it doesn't
You're not consistent?
help with viruses. I don't know.
No, it's supposed to help with viruses.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't consistent enough with it. I mean,
How many drops do you do? How many drops a day?
I do 10 2 times a day.
Oh, wow. For maintenance? Is that what you do for maintenance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you don't have a stomach ache?
No.
You never ever had one, not even at the beginning?
Nope.
No, that's good. Well, mine's probably still from chemo. I don't know. I don't know if I'm putting misery on top of misery.
Yeah, I honestly, when I first started, I remember kind of giving it was a kind of a nice thrill. Like the taste was terrible, but for some reason I would immediately feel like a little bit of a boost in my brain. Wow. And my wife thinks that that's just like because I drank a glass of water, and I was like, okay, yeah, that could be it. But no, I never had a stomach ache.
Yeah. But yeah, remember that this it's still an illusion. So it's
yeah,
not
totally. I mean,
perfect.
yeah, it's an illusion thing, and And yeah, so that was just another part of it, you know, like a thing for me to get worked up about and a thing to forgive. So that was my big forgiveness. And, you know, it was just what I was trying to say is at moments of clarity, I would sort of regain control of my mind and you know, do a engage the holy instant. And then the one other quick one I was going to share is that I watched that video about mind wandering this morning. And then I was thinking like, okay, today, like every moment, minute by minute, I'm going to be watching out. And then like went in the kitchen and almost immediately got in a fight with my wife. And it was great. And ultimately I was like, yeah, I guess I was just judging what you were saying to me. And she was like, yeah, well, maybe you should work on that. And I was like, shit, it's coming at me from all sides. So that was like perfect timing.
She's asking you to do something outrageous.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I had a great forgiveness opportunity there because I was upset and triggered, and I was able to work on that immediately. And that's my forgiveness in the field.
Very nice.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, Nathan. I'm glad that you're feeling better and not feeling so much pain like that. It hurts to hear about any of my brothers in pain, physical pain. My forgiveness in the field, a few different things I could share. The most exciting one for the video would probably be a friend of mine. I may have brought him up before, been friends for 20 years. He got in a breakup, and it sucks. So he's really in a lot of pain and stuff, but I wasn't too fond of his way of dealing with the pain because, well, we decided to go out and he was being very disrespectful to me and everyone in sight. We went to 3 different bars and didn't really buy anything at first, just walked around, storming around the place, and basically my friend was insulting everybody, and by just kind of being rude, his demeanor, or like saying like this place sucks or something like that in front of people. They're like one of the bars, the 3rd bar we went to is really close to my place, and it's taken me time to kind of like develop a relationship with the people there, in a sense, and he basically just insulted all of them and me, and I wasn't too happy about it that night. It was kind of bugging me a little bit, and then I spoke with Langdon the next day, and like Langdon and I chat, and it was really helpful. You know, I heard him kind of remind me like, well, your friend's just having a bad day and stuff, and so I had compassion, even though that behavior is not really tolerable. I can tolerate my brother, you know, or you know, I in a way, it's not grounds to like stop a friendship or anything stupid like that. It's just maybe next time I see that pattern coming up, just instead we'll stay inside, you know, you know, and I did let him know, and he's aware too, and yeah, no big deal. It's not really bugging me anymore, you know. I perhaps might write an apology letter too, just to some of the people at the bar over here, you know, and just say, hey, like, sorry I brought my friend in, it wasn't the right time and whatnot, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not a huge deal. Matter doesn't matter, and but my brother's life, capital L, and all of our life together, that is what matters. So yeah, it means practicing. And how do I know what's like for me to judge and say like, oh, I can just defriend someone? I don't think that's the right answer. I think the Holy Spirit urged me instead to practice forgiveness. Duh.
Right. Very, very nice.
Who wants to choose the videos for next week? Perhaps like Nathan or Linda, if you want to choose total 30 minutes of Ken with Wapnick YouTube videos for next week.
Yeah, I can do it. I just can't do it today. I can do it tomorrow.
Cool.
Right on. Send it to Randy, Viola, and or Jared.
Okay.
That'd be nice. Great job. Way to step up, Nathan. Proud of you.
Oh yeah, leadership skills. You know.
Yeah, 101. Awesome.
All right, so thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you for all our viewers watching. If everyone wants to mute their mic, we'll end our call as we usually do, saying good night and God bless.
Good night. God bless.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night and God bless everybody.
Have a great weekend.
God bless. Good night, everyone.
Good job.